I was pressing the wrong button, that's why. So, what's up, everybody? It's been a while since I did a video, especially one that's not from my phone. So this one, I was listening to a podcast, and the podcast is called Marsha's Plate. It's kind of it's been out for a few years, but I just started listening to podcasts because obviously I drive trucks now, so I need stuff to listen to. So I probably would have listened to it before, but I never listened to podcasts before this year. So anyway, a topic came up, and the topic was they've mentioned before, and I just kind of wanted to, I wish this was like live so y'all can interact with me, because I really want to know what y'all think. So this is really one of those videos where I need y'all to comment and tell me what you think. But they had a discussion, and they've mentioned a few times where they were wondering, is getting surgeries transphobic? Now sometimes when they go into detail, I don't really get why they get to that point, but for me, I don't think so. So they're saying that, okay, so to encompass transgender person, what they are is, you're trans, you're gonna have body parts that don't really align with who you believe yourself to be. So the fact is, they're saying once you start getting surgeries and you're trying to align with the cis-normative, then that's transphobic in a sense. And to me, it's not, because I basically just think that I'm literally just aligning my body with the way that I think, and it's not to be cis, because I will never be a cis man. It's not to be that. It's just because I never wanted titties, and I always wanted a dick. Like, that's just, it's really that simple. It's not, if they categorize women or females as being born with penises rather than the other way around, then I would just identify as an actual female. Then you know what I'm saying? Like, if that's making any sense, it's probably not making any sense. That's just how I feel about it. Like, things that I want for myself doesn't mean that I'm transphobic. Now, I've come across a lot of transphobic comments from trans people, and I can't say that I don't understand, because at one point in time I was pretty, I don't want to say pretty because it wasn't that severe, but I was kind of transphobic myself. So back in the day, and I'm talking about early 2000s, I would say stuff about trans women and stuff of that nature, because I didn't understand and how they were able to do that. And once I learned, once I became educated about the topic, then it was easier for me to be like, oh, I get it, you know what I mean? And then that's when I came into play, and then going through life and figuring out who I am, what I wanted to do. And then now I stick up for when people say the wrong thing, misinformation and miseducation. But once I grew out of that, and I realized, and I recognized and acknowledged the fact, well, you're saying this and you're doing this because these negative things, because you feel like you can't do it. That's where I was at with it, but I'm not there. Obviously, I'm not there anymore. I've grown since then. Now, there are certain things that people do in the trans community that I don't align with and I don't understand, but I don't bash it either. I don't yuck their yum. And so I'll be quite honest with you, I am not fully understanding of GNC and NB people, gender non-conforming and non-binary. I don't quite understand certain things. Like, I understand you don't feel like you fit into woman or man categories. You feel like you're both or you're neither. I get that. It's just certain things that people do that I don't quite understand, but I'm not going to get into that because I don't want to offend anybody that, I'm gonna be quite honest. It's not even so much of whether I want to offend anybody or not, because I mean, if you're offended by it, honestly, you could probably just get off of here. But it's more so, it's just because I don't like to speak on stuff that I really don't know anything about, and so I'm not going to. But I think that conversation also came from people that they go and they get all of their surgeries, and then once they get all their surgeries, they try to live a cis life. Like, I'm not that person. Like, I got my surgeries and everything, but one thing about it is I'm never gonna say I'm not trans, and I'm never gonna say I'm cis. I don't know. I just kind of wanted to know what y'all thought about that topic. But people seem to have. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. But it's weird that people have, especially cis people that claim cis straight people that are always in trans or LGBT business. So here's a problem that I'm seeing. If you're claiming you're trans, they have a problem with that. Or why don't you just be what God made you to be? First of all, everybody doesn't believe in what you believe in. So anyway, but they say, why don't you just be what God made you to be? This is kind of one of those topics where it can get messy. Like, what do y'all think about trans women tops? If you don't know what that means trans women using their penis to have sex. And a bottom would be a trans man using his vagina to have sex. Trans women and their genitalia. Like, I didn't know, and like I said, I was very ignorant, but I didn't know that there are some trans women that like to use their parts, because and I say that not to really be ignorant, but I'm saying that because I was basing it on me. So I never thought of using my parts. So when I hear that's a thing, and that's for both sides, as trans women and men. When I first started transitioning, I didn't know that was a thing, because who I was talking to, she didn't use her parts and I didn't use my parts. So I never thought the other, it's like I said, it's mad ignorant, but I just never thought about it, because for me, in my world, it didn't apply. So and then I felt like, being trans, and this is transphobia, like internal transphobia, like being trans, why would you want to use the parts that you have? But again, everybody's not dysphoric about their parts, and it wasn't that I was dysphoric about. Let's be very clear. It wasn't that I was dysphoric about my parts, because I've never truly been dysphoric about my parts. It was just, I knew I wanted a dick. Like, to me, it's just that simple. But for other people, it's like, well, that doesn't make sense. To me, it did. And so I never thought a second time about whether people use what they have or not, because I know I wasn't using mine. So I felt like they probably wasn't using theirs. But again, I wasn't in their business. That's my wife calling me.
Hey, my love.
Sometimes you have to use what you have. Like, people, not everybody is dysphoric about what they have. And so if that's, having sex that way feels good to that person, what's it to you? Like, especially if a lot of these people are not even having sex with one another. Like, why do you care about what somebody else is doing with their body? That's the weirdest thing to me. And cis people complain about, you should just be happy with what you got, and then you're using what you got for the people that do use for what they got. And they complain about that, like, oh, that's weird. Why you even transition if you're gonna use what let's say you're never happy, ever happy. And it's so weird that you're so involved, like you want to be so involved with other people's business. That's super weird. Now granted, I'm a very inquisitive person. Like, I love to like know what other people are got going on and like are going through, because I want to see how it relates to me. That's why I be wanting to know like certain things about people. But it's not to be nosy, it's just literally, how can I connect with you? Well, who's gonna date you? Or maybe you feel like, well, who's gonna date you? And then you start dating other trans people, and then they're like, well, if you were just gonna date another trans person, why didn't you just stay what you were? Which, if you know anything, that doesn't matter. Like, trans is the person you go to, your gender is the person you go to sleep as, your sexuality is the person you go to sleep with or go to bed with. So those things don't matter, but it's like you can never please them. It's like if you're saying, oh, I want to transition, like, oh, you're just transitioning so you can in my instance, trans man, you just transitioned so you could date women. I was dating women before I transitioned, so I never claimed that L word. I hate that word, but I always just say I was gay, and that was fine with me. Like, you can never please them. Not that it's any of their business, but you can never please them. I just really want to kind of, I don't know, I just kind of wanted to talk because I'm feeling a little lonely. That's what I will say about trucking. Like, even though I like spending time alone, because sometimes I just want to talk. And I be, I don't be wanting to burden nobody with, my stuff. Not to say, not my personal business, but I'm saying, like, I don't want nobody to feel like they're obligated to just keep talking to me because I'm bored or I'm just feeling away. I'm never trying to consume anybody's time. Because one thing about me, I am considerate of other people's time. I don't like to feel like I'm burdening anybody, and so sometimes I just really be to myself, and it's starting to kind of get a little bit too much. Like, I really be to myself. I'm just rambling on. This video is not turning out the way that I wanted it to turn out, but I had showed y'all a few of my trucking vlogs. Now, of course, they would be way more detailed if I could be recording all the time, or if I had like my wife come with me or whatever. She could be holding the camera and then we could be interacting like that. But it's just me all the time. Oh, I didn't tell y'all, if y'all haven't noticed, which y'all probably haven't, I finally hit 1,000 subscribers. And so I'm so happy about that. I mean, I don't know if that means anything, but that's a milestone for me, because again, you go back to my previous videos, you see I never thought that I would even have as many. When I had like 500, I was excited. So I never thought that I'd have that many subscribers. I know there's a lot of trans guys or just people, nosy people or whatever that I know, I'm sorry, I'm looking rough. I haven't been home to like get myself together, and my face breaks out really bad on the road because of all the different waters that my body comes in contact with when I take showers at the truck stops and stuff. It's weird, so now my face is starting to break out more. But anyway, so I never thought that it would be like it is, like this many people will want to know. But again, it's like I didn't, but I was hoping I did, because again, like trying to find what I'm talking about is not a lot of people, and I'm not trying to be a pioneer or anything like that, which that's great, but I was trying to convince other people to share their stories, because there's been a few people I'm like, man, they would be on the fence about it. I'm like, man, you might as well share it, because if we don't talk about it, who's going to talk about it? We don't show it, who's going to show it? And so, granted, it's nice being one of the few people that do, because you get more people to come to your video. Like, I have 12,000 views, and 1,000 of those views was in one day recently. So I have 12,000 views on my dick pumping video. And I purposely named that the title because I know how people are, like when people click on stuff like that. And that's not even clickbait, because I really do pump my dick up. But that's not what the whole video is about. You know what I'm saying? So I had to kind of just title it something that would get your attention but still be true to the video. But yeah, I'm moving around a lot. I can't get comfortable. I'm just gonna keep talking. This is like y'all my therapy. I told y'all I make videos I make them for y'all, but I also make them really for me, as far as like therapy and stuff, and just connected with y'all and other people that have probably the issues that I have, or the experiences that I have, or are looking forward to maybe the experiences that I have.